Well, now we're going to be looking at dividing polynomials, and specifically, we're looking at dividing a polynomial. Did I say binomial a moment ago? A polynomial divided by a binomial. And we're going to start off by looking at using the division algorithm of long division. And this is very similar to what you may have learned back in your arithmetic days with long division of numbers. But let's go ahead and set this up, and then we will solve this. So we've got x minus 3 divided into, well, I should have left myself a little more room. Let me erase that. Give myself a little bit more room up at the top. X minus 3 divided into x squared plus 7x plus 30. Now, I've got this binomial. I'm dividing it into this polynomial, trinomial. But what I'm really concerned with is how many times will this x go into x squared? Well, x is going to go into x squared x times, and I want to keep myself in order. So I'm going to put my x right above that 7x. Now I'm going to multiply x times x minus 3, and then I'm going to subtract that from my dividend. So let's see, x times x is x squared, and x times negative 3 is negative 3x. Now I like to put this in parentheses because I'm subtracting this from what I see up above, which means that the signs are going to change inside that parentheses. In other words, that's going to become a negative x squared, that's going to become a positive 3x. So let's see, x minus x squared, well, that's going to be 0, and 7x plus 3x is 10x. And I'm going to bring down the positive, no, that's a negative 30, isn't it? Oh, got to change that to negative 30. All right, about to make a mistake there, but I've caught it. All right, now again, how many times will x go into 10x? That's what I'm concerned about. All I got to think about is how many times will x go into 10x? Well, x will go into 10x 10 times. All right. Now, again, I'm going to multiply. So 10 times x is 10x. And 10 times negative 3 is negative 30. But remember, I'm going to put my parentheses here. We're going to subtract this. It's going to change the signs inside that parentheses. And so 10 minus 10x is 0. And negative 30 plus 30 is 0. So I've got a 0 remainder. And my answer is, when I divide x squared plus 7x minus 30 by x minus 3, we come to x plus 10. Now, if I was going to check my work, let's talk about that. I could multiply x minus 3 times x plus 10, and that should give me x squared plus 7x minus 30. And how about just for fun, let's test this out on this one. And this would be how you check your work. So I could say, okay, I got x minus 3 times x plus 10. And then we just use the FOIL method to see if we come to x squared plus 7x minus 30. Well, x times x is x squared. X times positive 10 is plus 10x. And negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And negative 3 times positive 10 is negative 30. Let's combine these like terms, and my answer is x squared plus 7x minus 30. And Shazam, I've proved that I've got the correct answer, dividing that polynomial by the binomial x minus 3. All right, we're going to do one more. All right, this time we got x squared minus 13x plus 12, and we're dividing it by x minus 1. So let's start. I got x minus 1 here. We're dividing it into, I want that to look like a square root symbol. X squared minus 13x plus 12. All right, now how many times will x go into x squared? Well, it'll go x times. And make note of where I'm putting this quotient. I'm putting it over, in this case, the negative 13x. Now I'm going to multiply x times x minus 1. Well, x times x is x squared. And x times negative 1 is negative x. Remember, we're going to subtract this from what we have above. So x squared minus x squared is 0. And negative 13x plus x, remember this sign is going to change because of this negative sitting right out there. Well, that's negative 12x. Let's bring down our 12. Now, how many times will x go into negative 12x? Well, it'll go in negative 12 times. And again, we're going to multiply back. Negative 12 times negative 12 times x is negative 12x. And negative 12 times negative 1 is positive 12. We're going to subtract that from the negative 12x plus 12. Remember, the signs change. So therefore, negative 12x plus 12x is going to be 0. And 12 minus 12 is going to also give me 0. I got a 0 remainder. And my answer for this division problem is x minus 12. All right, in those two cases, we had a 0 remainder. And we're going to look at some here a few moments later to where we're going to have a remainder. And that's even more fun. Shazam.